Here we're back.
Yes, you may have noticed, ladies and gentlemen, that we have changed the venue. We are now in Martin Kinch's kitchen.
Just an hour up the road.
Which is attached to my house. Okay.
Yeah, we were talking about Roy, and you weren't that keen on him, and
Right, yeah.
at the start. And,
but he brought a lot to the band, in as much as vocal harmonies, and he was a good singer. And the band had never actually worked together really well as a vocal harmony band. And but I'm saying that I was still into cabaret, so we, myself and Raj, the drummer, and Roy, devised this Jimmy Savile show, in which we did impressions.
Yeah.
Of various artists of the day, and we took that out, and we became a kind of Rockin' Berries. We're doing very similar things, and we did that and worked that around the clubs. We used to go on and do this show, impressions. Roy used to do Donovan. In fact, a lot of when we used to stop at the motorway cafes and that, they used to think he was Donovan. Yeah. And as we used to go through, they'd go, "Who's that?" I said, "Donovan, love, yes, Donovan." And they used to try and get his autograph. And he used to sit there. And so, "Who are you from?" I said, "I'm from the Hollies, love. I'm Alan Clark from Hull." Rod Spencer was from the Four Pennies. And Dave Pritchard was one of the Kinks.
Oh, right.
So we were like a super group.
And you got away with it?
We got away with it. They didn't know. There's one of the Kinks over there, and there's Four Pennies. Lionel somebody, I think, he went south. But no, we did that, and we worked that for ages. It's a very funny show.
And didn't he do Dusty Springfield?
He did Dusty Springfield.
I can't imagine it.
He had a wig. This is Roy.
I've never seen his pictures.
No. I don't think you would see him if there was any existing. He used to, I can't remember what song he did, but he used to do Dusty Springfield. I used to do PJ Proby. Gene Vincent was the top one. I used to do Gene Vincent. Roy did Donovan. And Roger used to be just Roger's comic now as a comedian.
He's a comedian anyway. I just can't imagine Roy being...
Yeah. No, I know you can't, can you? No. But he used to do it. No. Yep, he used to do impressions, and loved it. Yeah. Those are the days.
So you had a handful of singles, and as I say, some of them are pretty rare.
Yeah.
There's another one here we haven't mentioned. "Don't Turn Your Back on Me, Babe."
Yes, that's a Jackie DeShannon number, and that was our last recording for Columbia, and it was produced by a guy who had Hurricane Smith.
Yeah.
He had hits on his own.
Wasn't he an engineer at Abbey Road?
He was an engineer, and we did "Don't Turn Your Back on Me." To me, it's the best record we ever did. And when we finished it, I remember that this Hurricane Smith came over and said, "If that don't get to number one, I'll hit, mate." So you've got number one there. He said, "That is a number one record." So we came out of Abbey Road thinking, "Yeah, they were made. This is great. We're getting the van." Well, if he said it's not number one, well, that's it's going to be number one. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it never got any play. So one morning, Dave Edmonds played it, and that's the only play I ever heard. And I played it once. That was it. Never heard it again.
It seems as though every time you made a record, you thought you'd done it.
Unbelievable.
You thought you'd made it every time.
We'd actually changed our name, as you may have noticed, to Mike Sheridan's lot, because we cut out the Night Riders because everybody was going for the smaller name, like the Move and the Frame and all these. So I said, we'll cut it down to Mike Sheridan, because they used to say, "Oh, here's Mike Sheridan's lot," if we went in. "Oh, here's Mike Sheridan's lot." So we cut it down. It didn't make any difference whatsoever. No. And through my whole career, I've tried several names of bands in the with different lineups, and tried different approaches. And they always, we were called Circus, and you got Tonight's Circus, X Mike Sheridan Night Riders. They used to always put it underneath. So I said, "There's no point. This is silly." No. We've been called Circus, Tiddlywinks. It goes on and on. Silly names. It's
a strange name, though, Circus. People turn up expecting to see.
Well, that was a impression show. Jeff Lynne was in that. We did impressions of that with a band that became Willie and the Poor Boys.
Oh, right.
I left, Jerry left, and they became Willie and the Poor Boys, which I think featured Dave Pritchard as well. So there's lots of links to the Night Riders. In fact, on the last count, there had been 83 members to the Night Riders.
Really?
Yeah, 83 members. They just came and went, you know.
So you were doing some TV shows as well,
All the time. We worked for a guy called international artist Laurie Mansfield, his name was, and he now takes the Queen around. You can see him on telly. There's raw performance, and he takes her around. Laurie Mansfield, and we worked for him, and he managed us, and we did this circus, round and round and round and round, and we did it for a couple of years, and eventually we ended up at the same place we started. And I said to the band, well, we've done the full circle here. There's no point in carrying on with this. And I left. And that's when they became the Poor Boys.
Right.
You know, and I left and formed yet another version of Mike Sheridan and the Night Riders. Yeah.
You don't know if any of the, well, I don't think any of the TV show recordings were...
There was Liftoff.
Yeah,
I did a dinner time show we had in Birmingham called Lunchbox.
Yeah.
With Noel Gordon. I can always remember that. It was a solo thing I did, and I came down the stairs, clicking my fingers to, I can't even remember this. Oh, what a sweet thing that was, it was called. Coming down the stairs, clicking things out of time, because it was a mime job, out of time, all out of sync, and nobody said anything to me at all. And when I saw it back, it was all out of time. It was terrible.
So you're probably glad it doesn't exist anymore.
I wish it did.
As far as we know.
You never know what pops up these days. Noel Gordon's show. We did Liftoff, and I did that with Rick Price as well. We did Liftoff.
Yeah.
Jukebox Jury.
Yeah.
Did that. Oh, lots of little bits, and then, of course, when Wizard started, I was on that with them.
So, before we go into the later days, let's just think now. Were you when Roy left? Was that a big disappointment to you?
Well, I can remember it well. Roy used to live in a place called the Midway in Birmingham, and I used to pick him up. And we had this Thames 1500 van, and I was driving. He come in, got in the van. She said, I know Roy as Rick.
Oh.
Yeah, because if I go, hi Rick, he knows it's me. We used to call him Ricky Rocky Roy, and he used to call me Mick. It was Rick and Mick. And he got in the van and he said, Mick, I'm going to leave. I'm leaving the band. And I says, oh. I said, why? He says, well, we're forming another band with other members of Birmingham bands and that. I says, oh, how long has this been going on? Really kind of been doing this behind our backside of the job. And he says, we're going to be called The Move. I says, The Move? What? The Move? What a stupid name. The Move? Yes, because we're all moving. I said, oh, great. So he said, so I'm going to leave. And I think he gave us a couple of weeks' notice. And he left. And we had Johnny Manning out of the car, because he picked Carl Wayne out of the Vikings. We had Johnny Manning, who was Carl Wayne's lead guitarist, and he joined. Of course, we were still doing the Jimmy Savile thing. One of the highlights of the show had gone, I think, Roy. And and Johnny Mann was just a lovely guy, good guitarist, but it just didn't work. And I said to the lads, I'm going to go with Roy, I think I'm going to leave. I left. So I left. So that left Roger, Greg, Dave and Johnny Mann. And then before I knew where that was, Johnny Mann had gone. I think he got killed. Oh. I think he got killed in Cornwall somewhere. But I think he'd left before that. And then they had Jeff. I took Jeff in. Who used to come and watch us play. Little lad used to come and watch us.
Did he?
Yeah, he used to put to the window at the Sheridan Community Centre where we were playing somewhere down there and watch us. He used to come in after we was also, how do you play this chord? That was Big Al with us. He used to ask Big Al how to play this chord, that chord, and he was anyway, so he used to watch us play, and they had him. Didn't know it was the same guy, I didn't, you know. And until they carried on under the name The Night Riders.
Yeah.
And there was a place in Birmingham called the Colton Club, and I saw in the paper in the Birmingham Mail, tonight, Mike Sheridan and the new Night Riders, plus support the Night Riders.
Really? You had your old lot supporting?
Yeah, so we had, yeah, it was the guy who ran it was a bit naughty on his part, I thought. So I'd got a band in with a guy called Pete Oliver and Terry Wallace, and Joe Dignam, and myself. They were on one stage. They opened. Jeff Lynne and the Old Night Riders. Jeff Lynne opened them, and then we went on, and then they went on again. And I thought they're good. My band was okay, but I thought they're good. He's a good lad, that Jeff Lynne. And so I got up and did a few numbers with them.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So it was the only one time I worked with Jeff Lynne in a band situation. And of course they went on then to change the name to the Idle Race. The rest is history, isn't it? You know, they always had that Night Rider curse. Never made a hit record. Couldn't do it. I don't know what it was, but it was like a curse on that particular band, you know.
Yeah. Mike Sheridan and the Night Riders and the Idle Race. Great band, great talent, great singles.
Couldn't crack it.
No.
Amazing. Just I couldn't understand why. Even that, the Idle Race. I was a milkman at the time, and I used to have the radio on top of the bottles, and I had "Come With Me," I think was playing one day, and I thought that's the Idle Race. The Idle Race. I thought that's a smash hit. They're gonna crack it with this.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna do this. Nothing.
Well, they did a single with the Night Riders with Jeff. Was it called "It's Only the Dog"?
It's Only Dog with Roger singing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did a single. Your Friend was on the back of that, if I remember, with Dave Pritchard's song. That was at the Night Riders. That was the only one they did, I think. I'm not sure. And then they did the Idle Race stuff. Good band.
Oh yeah, I love the Idle Race.
Yeah.
So you're driving your milk truck,
float,
listening to Idle Race.
Yep.
Little bits of regret there coming in.
Definitely. In fact, I can remember. Roger don't remember, but I remember ringing Roger from a telephone box and saying, "Do you know, fancy rejoining?" You know, and he said, "Well, I'll have a word with Jeff and that, blah blah blah." But it never came to anything. Yeah, they were good. But on saying that, I think what Jeff brought out of Dave, Greg, and Roger was the fact they'd always been used to a lead singer with a backing, like me and them, but then it was like a band. It was a group then, and they were working together as a unit. You know, vocally they were as well, but they'd learnt with Roy and that, and vocally it was all working, which didn't happen with us really. You know, it was a lot more of a band as opposed to somebody in the somebodies. You know, and I think that's why it worked to a point. I think, and I don't know why Jeff decided to knock it on the head with them, but I remember having a word with Jeff, and he said, I've been offered a job with the Move, and I said to Jeff, don't do it, you know. I said, no, don't do that, because the Move had split up and all that business, and different people had come in and out. I said, no, don't stick with the Idle Race, because it's going to work. But he didn't, and he went with the Move, and of course we know what happened there. Two egos in a band don't work, you know. Never has done, it never will. You know.
Two of my favourite musicians.
In one band. In fact, I went to see them at Solihull Civic Hall with Rick Price, who just left the Move, and we sat and watched them, and it was like, I could see there was kind of a fight at who's going to be first or last on the stage, who's going to be the star here, you know. And I said to Rick, I said, this is not going to work, you know, because Jeff is completely different to Roy, but Jeff was dressing up, and I thought, he got eye patches on and silly hats, and I thought, this is not going to work. And Roy came in with a white beard and playing a pink cello or something, I don't know, and it was like that type of thing, and it was kind of semi-serious. And Jeff had a song out called Mr. Radio, and he did it on that show at Solihull. The difference in the songs was obvious. You know, it was obvious that there was a conflict there. I could see it happening. And of course they went on and they did the ELO thing then together. Well, that was the ELO thing, but it just fell to pieces. You know.
And before that, what did you think we just talked about the Idle Race?
Yeah.
What were you thinking of the Move? You know, the Night of Fear, Waking of the Grass Grow. Was this the time that you were doing the milk round and they were getting top 5 hits?
Yeah,
for the first...
I saw the first Move gig at the Club Cedar. The gig that I actually saw was the first time I saw them. Was at the Club Cedar, and they came on, in like dressed as gangsters, Chicago type, and they just knocked me out. They were absolutely brilliant because Carl Wayne was a great singer, but I always thought Carl was like Mr. Cabaret as well, you know. Yeah, cabaret type, that type. I could see him as a singer on his own without a band, you know. But they were just completely brilliant, and they were doing Roy's stuff, and I thought, I missed about, you know, we missed about here, you know. So, owing up to that, we missed about with Roy's stuff, singing his stuff, and they went on to become obviously the move, you know.
Well, they were very different, weren't they, from the early days to the later days?
Oh yeah.
And when Rick joined them, you actually ended up doing the artwork for an album called Shazam.
Shazam, I did, yeah. And they had a few years back. They had what's the word? A gallery meeting, a gallery thing to present this. They had the picture put in frames, and they was flogging them up like
limited
that.
prints.
That's it. Yeah, and I went down there and did that. That was great, and I get to sign it. But although it's out there, that poster print of Shazam. It's signed by myself, Rick and Bev, but obviously not Carl Wayne. And I think because of that, it never took off. It was like an autograph missing because Carl had died. And it was like, that was the reason I think it didn't sell.
It was like a tribute night to Carl.
Because I said to his wife, Jack, his son Jack, I said, Jack, I said, why don't you get Jack to sign it on his behalf? You know, perhaps it would make it look better, but it didn't happen. And they were selling for a lot of money, but I think they've got a lot of them left somewhere. Somebody's attic's got some of them. But it was an honour to have to do that, you know. I entered that. It was a competition in the Birmingham Mail to design the cover for the Moves New album, and I thought, well, if I put Mike Sheridan, they'd go, oh, it's Mike Sheridan. They picked it, so I did it under the name of Nickleby. If you ever look on it back at the Shazam, I cover design Nickleby. And I did it under that name, so as not to be always favouritism type of thing. No. And I won it.
So they didn't ask you as a mate then?
No, I just entered it. And I did them as superheroes.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you always notice anything I draw, I can't draw arms or hands. So everybody's got always got their hands behind the back. Anything you see of mine will have no hands. So always got hands behind the back. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's quite an iconic sleeve, isn't it? Very recognizable.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. And I enjoyed doing that. Yeah.
So you're obviously very friendly with Rick Price. Now
Definitely.
He left the Move, and you did some work together with Rick.
Rick was my best mate, still is. Yeah, we were still signed up to Laurie Mansfield, and he said, "How do you fancy?" First of all, he came to my house. I was living in Bourneville. Laurie, this is. Said, "Do you fancy?" I'd had a break, and he said, "Do you fancy making a record?" And I says, "Oh, I don't know." I said, "I think I've done that one, you know." And he says, "I'd like to record you again." So I says, "Okay." So then we did. I think I did a Jeff Lynne song called "Follow Me, Follow."
Yeah.
Which was an Idle Race song, I think it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thinking, hello, my chance to do a Jeff Lynne thing. Hello, let's try this angle. And
oh, there we go.
that's it, Jeff Lynne, Follow Me, Follow. The B-side was written by my ex-wife. So, yeah, I did that for Laurie Mansfield. And he was also recording Rick as well, Rick Price.
Yeah.
Rick had got a couple of songs out. How did fancy doing an album together? So we did an album called This Is to Certify.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got a copy there.
There we are.
There we are. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Still available to good chemists. You can find that.
Actually, I did get you to. There's a couple of nice pictures in there.
Oh,
that
yeah.
night that you spoke about, that Move print thing, I got you to sign it. So
Oh, there's, yeah.
There it is.
Has my autograph changed? It's not changed.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And I like the way Rick's put, we was known as, what, Fringe and Curtains, was it?
It's a good album. Some good session musicians on there.
Some great, yeah. Clem Catini on drums, yeah. And he was actually the top of the Pops band.
Oh, right.
Most of them played on that.
Yeah.
And a bloke called Maynard Ferguson played trumpet on it, and one of the tracks on there, and he just goes mental. He's one of the, I'm going to blow the highest note in the world on this album now, he said. And he's on there, on there. So that came out and bombed. Didn't do much. But now it's a real collector's piece.
Yeah.
And it was so big in Japan, it went mental. Yeah. And it's a real collector's piece now.
And got a CD release as well a few years ago.
Got a CD release, and the reviews on it was like we were the new Simon and Garfunkel.
Right.
Yeah. But still no hit.
We did a few singles with Sheridan and Price.
Yes. Sometimes I wonder. That's one of my songs, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's credited with Rick as well.
Yeah.
And Lightning Never Strikes.
Still getting royalties for that.
We did. What was the Moves version?
No. Well, because the Move did it.
Yeah.
And still get royalties. Whether it's not obviously not from my sales, it's from their sales.
Right.
I think the last royalty I got 29 pence.
Party time.
Magic. And in fact, what happened was the invoice came in and said, please sign this and return this envelope. And I said to my wife, it's going to cost me more to stamp to get 29p. So we just left it. Rick's the same. He got it all with 29 pence.
Wow.
We still get them dribbling because, 20 pence and isn't it? Forget it.
So some of these singles that were Sheridan and Rick Price, and you've also got Rick Price singles, and you've got Sheridan singles.
Have you got a Rick Price single there?
Yeah, so were you all playing on the...
the top 10 record? No, I wasn't on that. That's one of my songs and Rick Price's song, B-side.
But you played on each other's tracks as well, I suppose.
Yes, we did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Davey Has No Dad, that was off the album.
Yeah.
Bittersweet, yeah. Oh, this one, you're going to go with that one,
Oh, yeah. So you were working quite a lot with Rick.
All the time.
And he'd left the Move, and Roy and Jeff had gone off to do this ELO thing.
Yeah.
But Roy didn't stay around, and you must have seen all this happening. I take it you were still friends. So, because at one stage, the Move was still going, and ELO had started.
I think Rick was a member of the ELO for a minute, I think. And then they went down to a trio. I think Jeff, Roy and Beth became ELO. And then they started augmenting it with violins and things and all that. And then their 10538 overture came out, and then they started doing that until Jeff decided to knock it on the head and do his own thing. Whereas Roy then started Wizard, and I ran the Wizard fan club.
You did.
Yeah. In fact, I used to have to get I had all these pictures done of the band, Nick Penslow and Charlie Greener and all that. And I used to have to go and get them signed, sign this, that, sign that. And run his fan club from my house in Bourneville. T-shirts, the back room was full of boxes of T-shirts and that. And I called it the Wizard Watchers Society. And I used to get a chance to run on stage, if they were to go like that, the WW Wizard Watcher, Wizard Watcher. And the fan club became, I suppose because of the way I am, more of a, Michael got a pimple on my face, how can I get rid of that? It was nothing to do with, it became an agony aunt. Yeah. How to get rid of it? I've met this bloke and all that sort of thing. So anyway, that went on for ages, running the Wizard thing, and got the chance to be Roy Wood on Top of the Pops a couple of times, and dressed as Roy and that. And a funny thing came out, funny instance was I was in the studios dressed as Roy Wood and standing there waiting to go on with the band, and who should come out to me was Roger Daltrey of The Who, and he whispered to me, there was something going on. And I says, I'm sorry, Roger says, no, I'm not Roy. I'm not Roy. And the language was a bit high, and off he walked.
Really?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have it?
Yeah, he wouldn't have it. I was Roy Wood. I said, I'm not Roy, I'm just a person.
I can remember seeing My Baby Joy was in the charts. I think every week you went up there was like an extra Roy.
Extra Roy Wood, yeah. We started off, I was the first, then Vic dressed as him, and that went on like that, yeah. So there was a load of Roy Woods. Yeah.
And you got Aisha from Liftoff, she was singing.
Aisha Bruff, yeah. Aisha Bruff.
What's she
doing now?
She was a night up, wasn't she? Her and Roy were a night.
Oh, they were, yeah, of course they were, yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He had been around, all right, yeah.
Just before that, though, what can you remember of the time of Roy leaving the ELO and forming Wizard? Was there? Can you remember much tension, or was it all?
No, I don't know. No, Roy's a very shy guy. He still is, and you can't get a lot out of Roy, but you won't let on much about what he's doing. I don't know what happened between him and Jeff Lynne as regards ELO and Wizard, but they just went their separate ways. Yeah. Jeff was, I think, a little bit ahead with ELO. They were having hits with Mr. Blue Sky and things like that while Wizard was running. Both successful bands in their own rights. And I'm sure they don't regret the move now that the move they made together. You know, they both formed their own bands, and they both come at it well. You know, both good entertainers.
Yeah. So you're having, well, it must be great fun with Wizard and Top of the Pops.
I was magic.
Were you at the live gigs as well?
I used to go to some of the live gigs, not all of them, but mainly the ones that were local, because I'm not a big traveller, I'm Martin.
No?
No, if it's not a mile away, I'm not interested.
Oh, right.
I only take bookings within a mile.
Okay.
Yeah.
That must have been great fun though. And
it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to get to, Roy had a big mansion in Sutton Way over there called Gothersley Hall, and it was a magic place. We used to get over there, and then I used to have to look after Roy's dog.
Oh, right.
His name was Hoss. It was an old English sheepdog.
Yeah.
And I had a little house in Bourneville, and it was like, couldn't get in if Hoss was there. I had to look after this dog. And I said to Roy, you're going to have this dog back, Rick. And he says, I don't want any. I said, well, I don't want it. I can't handle it. So, so that was the case, yeah.
So Roy was managed at the time, or before then, by Don Arden, so you must have come across Sharon.
Well, as I was running Wizard Watchers Society, I had a phone call from Sharon saying, we want you to come down to London to run the Wizard fan club. As I'm not a great traveller, I says, oh, I don't want to do that. I said, oh, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that. I tried to run it from here. Well, we want to run it from down here. I said, well, in that case, you better run it from down there then, without me. Which they did, and I think it lasted about 20 minutes and it was finished.
Oh, yeah.
It just fizzled out. Because they weren't talking to the kids, like, you know, about the pimples and, you know, and all the, they were in agony on us down there. So I think they just faded that away, faded off.
Yeah. Roy was having a success with Wizard and also a solo career. Now, didn't you make an album with Wizard without Roy?
Yes.
I've got a copy of it.
In actual fact, I think that was before Wizard was formed. I did an album with this Laurie Mansfield. Have you got that?
Yeah, well, there's a CD somewhere.
There's a CD of it.
What we got?
Who do you know? Oh no, that's not that one.
Is that not Wizard without?
No. There's some tapes called the Forgotten Tapes.
Oh no, I haven't got that.
Ah. There was the line.
Have you got it?
I'm not telling you. Was Wizard before Wizard with Bob Brady, Charlie Greamer.
Was that not Mongrel then?
It became Mongrel.
Oh.
Yeah. Nick Penslow, Keith Smart, me. Ian Tandy, is it Rick Tandy?
Richard Tandy.
Richard Tandy. And I think a guy called Stuart Scott was in there, and Rick Price. And we did this rock and roll, a classic rock and roll, shaking all overs and all that. We did it, and I've still got it. And you're not going to have it.
It's all right.
I might do you a copy one day.
Baby or Field?
It's what?
Is it called Baby or Field or something like that?
No, I've only got a CD. It didn't come out.
No.
I just managed to get, and I called it the Forgotten Tapes.
Right.
And then they became Mongrel.
Yeah.
Which became Wizard.
Yes.
Which was more or less the same. I think Roy saw the band and thought, well, that's a good band.
Yeah.
They were good, and pushed me out. Went to bye, and I went out, and they carried on as Wizard.
Oh,
that's how Wizard was actually formed. So he must have saw that, or saw something in that lineup.
Yeah.
To become Wizard.
Right.
Which mainly was the whole lineup. This.
Where did Alma Goodbody?
Right, the story with this. Okay. I did. I've always had this thing about doing different things, right? And everybody was doing different names, weren't they? Everybody got a different name, like Gary Glisson, all these silly names were going about. And I thought, I'm going to be Alma Goodbody Junior. and I'd heard the name in a cowboy film somewhere. This is Alma Goodbody. So I thought, I'll be Alma Goodbody Jr. and I'm going to be a Gene Vincent takeoff. Right, as you can see on the front of that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Gene Vincent.
And that's before Alvin Stardust, was it?
Well, we did a gig to promote this Alma Goodbody guy down in London, a place called Quaglino's, I think it was. And who should be there but Shane Fenton, as it was known then, and lots of other people were there, you know, pop stars of the day. And I did this, and I'd done that album, then recorded that album. And next thing I know, I was watching telly one night, and up comes Alvin Stardust with the same thing, really, basically the same thing. And of course, you know as I know, you can't say, well, I thought of that first, because you've got no proof, have you? Which I did, and I got to admit, Alvin was. I love Alvin. Yeah, he was great. He was already a friend of mine, as Shane Fenton. We did a lot of gigs with Shane Fenton and the Fentones. And when he came out as Alvin Stardust, that went down the pan. That was another one. Goodbye. But I wrote all the songs on that.
Yeah, there's a couple here. The one that Roy wrote called Brand New 88.
Yes.
That was with that. And Jeff's Do Ya.
Do Ya. The Move did Do Ya, didn't they?
Yeah, and the Hello did it. But I thought these were I thought the Wizard guys were on it. Were on this album.
Yes, they were. I used. Who did I use? Bob Brady, Rick Price. Who was on drums? I think it was Keith Smart. Yes, it was Keith Smart produced it.
All right.
That's right. Nick Penslow was on it, and Roy plays on that on Brand New 88.
He played on it.
He played a double bass on it.
Right.
And I covered that song. The other songs on it, there's one on there where Rick Price actually plays the bass that Jet Harris played Diamonds on, which was...
Is that Dave Pritchard wrote that one? Time Is Right?
The Time Is Right was by Dave Pritchard, but not the Dave Pritchard you know.
There is another one, isn't there?
Yeah. And he does a bop. That was when I just started writing songs, you know.
Well, some good little songs on there.
Yeah, it was basic for that image thing, you know.
Yeah.
I said played Diamonds on guitars.
Yeah.
So I sell that on gigs now. You know.
Yeah. And
yeah, that's a real
the Droopy
thing.
Boots. That's what they wrote, isn't it?
The Droopy Boots came about. Rick and I got the same sense of humour.
Yeah.
And we just thought, I said, why don't we make up this group called the Droopy Boots and write some songs? And we wrote these. Some of them are pretty near the bone, near the knuckle, and we had great fun doing that. And I put that on my website, sell that on the website.
Yeah, these are for sale on your website.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Yeah.
And so are these.
Yeah.
And so are these. They all are, actually.
Yeah, that's that album we were talking about, because that's got Rick's solo album on it as well.
Yes, it has. Yeah.
To certify.
Yeah.
And this album, I was going to ask you about this.
Right.
That's a great picture there. Tell me about where that was and what.
Oh, that was taken at a scout hut in Erdington. King's Landing, a scout hut, and I think this Jag, it was either mine or the manager's. I think it was mine. I'm not quite sure now whether it was mine or I had one. I had a Jag very similar to that. Could have been mine. Could have been. It's a long time ago. But yeah, that was taken. What month's that? What year is that? 60.
Well, this album, it was obviously recorded back in the 60s, but I don't think it came out. The vinyl didn't come out till sort of 80s, did it?
Right. You got that signed by everybody.
Even you on there.
Oh, even me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there might be one missing. Got to get Dave. Got to get Dave to sign it.
Could I get Dave? Yeah.
Yeah.
Greg on there? No.
Yes.
Oh, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Roger's not. Oh, he is. There he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's worth more money. You put the value up of that being signed, Martin.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. It's got to be worth at least another 50, 60, even a quid more.
Yeah. It'd be worth to somebody else called Martin. They want to put this on eBay.
Yeah.
It would suit somebody with the name Martin.
Yes, it would suit somebody with the name of Martin. Yeah.
But now
there's a picture of us with little Richard at the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great night.
Yeah.
It's a Boom Town Hall. Yeah.
All right. So basically you haven't really stopped, have you? Well, that
No.
album has actually been on CD as well, we should say.
Yeah.
That came
That's
out
available.
the 80s or 90s or whatever.
That still sells steadily, to very, very old people.
So this is basically the singles and the B-sides. And
yeah, that's everything we recorded to the EMI.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything.
Abbey Road as well. Must have
Abbey
been an
Road,
exciting time for you.
Yeah, was, magic.
In fact,
I had John Lennon's plectrum,
You did?
I know, and I threw it away.
No.
I kept it for ages, and I went down that. I mean, it's got to be worth. What's John Lennon's plectrum? But you can't prove it because I could pick any plectrum and say this was John Lennon's plectrum.
Yeah. In fact, some of your tracks are featured on a beat club at Abbey Road.
Yeah.
So lots of artists that recorded there.
Yeah.
Like the Hollies.
Hollies.
Favourite.
Yeah.
Keith Powell's on there.
Yeah. Keith's still about.
Cilla Black. Manfred Mann. So that must have been a big thrill for you to record there.
Well, these things pop up, and I mean we're not told that they're on there, or we've got songs on different compilations, so they just pop up and say, "Oh, I got to see." You go, "Oh, I mean, where did that come from?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you haven't stopped basically
No.
over the years.
Never stopped. All through, I've had different. In the end, I ended up when I met Sue. We've been married 20 years now.
Right.
Sue was in a band and supporting us, a version of the Night Riders. We met and took it from there. And then she had a home band. And when we got together, we formed a band together called My Sheridan and the Devotions. That was myself, Tony Kelsey, and a girl called Pip. And I was on guitar, Sue on bass, Tony on guitar, and Pip. And we had drum tracks, played to drum tracks. And we went out like that for a while, good band. Which gradually Tony went off, did his thing, couldn't work with girls, so he says. Yeah. So they left me, Pip and Sue at the end. We went out as Mike Sheridan Devotions. I went on the keyboards, Sue on bass and Pip. I went on guitar, Pip on keyboards, Sue on bass. And then I used to do all the tracks in the studio and we played the tracks. And we went out like that for ages, Mike Sheridan Devotions, with two beautiful girls. And that was very nice, thank you very much. It's get a lot of hassle.
It's a terrible life, isn't it?
Terrible, lots of hassles from the lads. But so.
One thing I must thank you for actually, because you invited me to your 50th birthday
Yes,
party.
yes.
Which is quite a few years
ago.
Well,
5 years ago.
Depending on when you're watching.
Yes, 5 years ago. Yeah. There is a DVD out of that.
There is, and that's available on the website.
It is available on the website. Have you got one of them as well? Blimey, you got everything. You've got a pair of shoes of mine, have you? I've been looking for them.
There you go, and that's still available.
That's available, yeah.
Great,
$12.99. Yep. And also got some Barmaid's Arms, which we did. I had a little group called Mike Sheridan and the Night Riders with Keith Slater and Tony Kelsey.
Yeah.
And I was on bass, drums and guitar. Not all at once, but that was the lineup. And it was a great group. It was a lovely little band. In fact, I would say it was one of the best bands I've ever had for vocals, because Keith, the drummer, was very talented.
Well, they are, and Tony as well.
And Tony, very talented. Now with Quill.
Yeah. Playing with Bev Bevan's band as well.
And Bev Bevan's band as well.
Yeah.
Keith's got his own band called Vivo.
Yeah.
And a very good band they are too.
Yeah, you did quite a lot of TV work.
Did a load of TV.
In the 80s this was, wasn't it?
Yeah. We did a series of that, Barmaid's Arms, with Malcolm Stent. In my grey days. And
I often used to see you on Chris Tarrant had some shows in late.
Yeah, what was that called?
OTT and Stay Back.
OTT Stay Back, that was it. Stay Back at the Westmead Country Club, yeah. Stay Back. I don't know what we were doing there. I don't know.
Drinking, I think.
I don't know what we did there. I don't think we ever played. Yeah.
One of the things we must also mention is this CD.
Yeah. This is called. What would she call it?
Well, One
Night Only. That was it. Made for Sue, my wife.
Yeah.
Is chief executive of a place called Headway, West Midlands and Solihull, and she runs it for people with acquired head injuries. People with motorbikes and things like that, come off motorbikes and things like that. And she's been there most of her life. So we had this idea of putting out a CD to sell for charity. and I got in touch with all my old friends on there. Steve Gibbons is on there, Fortunes, the Brothers, without Joe, Idle Racer on it. Everybody I knew was on it, and they all contributed a track, and we sold them through the actual headway and through my website, and that raised quite a bit of money for it. Yeah,
that's great.
We're thinking about reviving that particular one and starting it again, doing another version, with some more people now.
Weren't you a member of Joe Brown's
Yes, I worked with Joe from '89 to '92. I couldn't believe I got the job. What happened was, we were supporting Joe Brown and the Brothers as a club, and we'd been on, and Joe went on, and we'd worked with Joe in the early '60s, so I didn't know whether he'd remember me or not. And when we came off, Joe was in the dressing room with his band, some members of his band, the others are gone, and he came up to me, "Hello mate, how are you, all right?" And I says, yeah, yeah. He said, "What do you think of my band?" I says, "Well, you could do with us," jokingly. So you could do with us, actually, Joe. "You having a laugh, mate?" I says, No, I'm serious. "Give me your number." So I gave him my phone number, and the very next day, I couldn't believe it, he rang me. He said, "Well, you serious, mate?" I says, "What about?" He says, "Having a go with me and a band." And I says, "Yeah, yes, please." Okay, he said, I'll get it together. So we got in touch, and we started rehearsals at the Coach in Coleshill, the pub there, with Joe, learning all his stuff. And he was doing a country tour. And I was on guitar. We had Neil Gorton on guitar, Phil Middleton on drums, Big Al, my old bass player, who's not with us anymore, on bass. And started off with Joe. And rehearsing, playing and that, rehearsing. He says, "Something's not right, mate." And I says, "What do you think?" I says, "Too many guitars, Joe." So you got you on guitar, me on guitar, Neil on guitar. Too many guitars. "Yeah, that's what I thought," he says. I said, "Well, look, I'll stand down, because Neil's obviously a better guitarist than me, you are." I said, "So I won't play guitar." "Do you mind?" I said, "No." I said, "No, I might. You can just sing and play harmonica with me." I said, "Yeah, okay." I said, "I'll do that." So that's how it happened. We went on tour with Joe. I was just playing harmonica and singing, doubling singing with Joe, and that went on and on and on. Never touched the guitar again with him, and it went on and on and on. And then he started got out the country thing, went on to his picture of you stuff and all that. And it was great. We had toured, did the London Palladium. Couldn't believe I was standing on the London Palladium. And we had actually back to Lord's Such as well there. And it was all happening. It was like, oh, this is the life. Because he was like mega to me. Joe Brown was like meeting Elvis to me. And we became good friends and that, and still keep in touch now. I go and see him when he plays local. But then because of the travelling, I used to travel on my own. The band used to go with the gear. They'd travel all together, and I used to go on my own because I didn't play or anything, and I could get away early. You didn't have to put gear on. Thinking. So one day he'd be in Cornwall, next day he was up north, next day he was up in there, and I was travelling. I did this for months, and I thought, I don't want to do this anymore. I was like going right down the corner, just seeing a picture of you, I said to Joe, I said, "Joe, mate," I said, "I'm going to knock it on the head if you don't mind." "Why is that?" He says. "Why?" I says, "Well," I said, "it's travelling, really, mate." I says, it's a long way to come to see a picture of you, and that's what love will do, I says, "So you'll manage with it." And so I says, "I've had a word with the lads, and I said to them, if you want to stay with Joe, that's fine by me, we'll still carry on with the Night Riders if they want to, women. And I said, so I told them, and they said, Phil said, the drummer said, "I don't want to stay with him." Neil says, "I do." Big Al was like my other half, and "I went with you," he said. So me, Phil and Al left, leaving Neil Gauntlet. He then replaced Big Al with a Rico, and a drummer was, I can't remember his name. Can't remember his name. Who's the guy that Jim
Keltner?
Who?
Keltner?
No, the drummer Jim. He had a hit. It doesn't matter.
Jim had a hit.
Yeah.
Drummer.
Yeah. Out of the Hellions.
I don't know.
Don't you know? No, it don't matter. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. A touch of old age. Anyway, he kept that, and I went to see them on a gig, and they were absolutely brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant. And afterwards, I went round to Joe. I said, Joe, that's the best lineup you've ever had. I said, it's just perfect. Of course, then Neil died. Rico died just a couple of months after. Phil, I nearly had it then, just left Phil the drummer, and now he's replaced him with his son, I think, John Brown, or it's Pete Brown, has replaced, and they've gone a bit heavy now, because Pete was like heavy rock and all that. So I'm going to see them in September. I saw them on the Quo thing. They did a job with the Status Quo. They were okay, but that was the lineup that I thought he cracked it with that lineup. Beautiful band, yeah. So that was the end of my time with Joe Brown.
Yeah, but you've never really stopped gigging, have you?
Never stopped
gigging,
haven't you? Well, we held a residency, Sue and I, at a place in Sutton Coldfield called the Warmley Social Club. Big club, lovely club. And we were there for 14 years.
Yeah.
Sue and I we used to go and do the duo with my studio tracks, and then I had a rock and roll band, 50s rock and roll, with Roger Bromley, Griff Griffiths, Sue on bass, and me on guitar. And we used to do 2 halves. And we did that for 14 years. A little bit of a disruption happened at the end of it, and we knocked that on the head. And I had 2 years off. Didn't touch anything, didn't have anything to do musically. Sue and I just packed it up, so that's it, we finished. Until, where were we now? February this year. Someone said, it's January, sorry. Would you like to come along to Keith Slater's mother's birthday? She was 80. I said, yeah, okay. At this little club in Wootton Wowing, little place over Henley and Arden Wayne, and 80th birthday. So I said, yeah, we'll come out. So soon I went, and bring your guitar. So I says, okay. I hadn't sang for 2 years. And when I got there, Keith Slater's band Vivo were on. Keith Slater's mother was, so he was doing a gig for her. So they got us up. Sue and I, we did Tell Me When by the Applejacks.
Oh, right.
And a few of Holly's things, Here I Go Again and things like that. And of course I got the bug. And when we come up, I said to Sue, I wouldn't mind having another dabble at this, blah, blah, blah. If we could find a venue. And I looked on my own nights, didn't want to go do gigs outside. I just wanted to do one a month, but it suited me, my age. So the woman who owns this particular club was Keith Slater's sister. And I said, could we have this club? She said, yeah. Yeah, you can bring it here if you like. So we started in May, our first one. And I went in with Sue and I in a duo and a rock and roll band. But because there was no room, it's only a little club, I couldn't get, there was no room. I got cymbals sticking in my back, and this was silly. I said to Sue, this is silly, we can't play it. So the room only holds 80 people. And I said, this is silly. So I said to Sue, what we'll do is we'll just do the duo here. So we just done our third month there, and it's a sellout every, it's packed. It doesn't take much to pack it out with 80 people, but it's and I still enjoy it, because I like to. The reason I like to work with tracks is, as opposed to a live band, is when you've got a live band and you're doing a residency, it's an awful lot of songs. Every month you've got to change a set. You can't keep doing the same. And I found when we were at Warmley doing with the rock and roll set, we were doing the old 25 rocks, shaking all out every month, and I said, you must be bored of listening to this, what I mean? And with doing tracks and that, you can go right across the spectrum. You know, I can do Michael Bublé stuff and sing the whole, which I love doing. I mean, singing is my first thing, and so with Sue as well. So we can do everything. You know, so there's no, every month it's a completely different set.
And you record that at home?
Yeah, do it at home, put the set up, go and do it.
Yeah.
And then the next month do another set, and that's how we do it. And I love it. I'm loving it at the moment. Of course, when we did that, could I have your card, please? Yeah. You know, so that happens, you know. And we've been getting gigs outside of that now, which I'm thinking, oh, hang on, you know, do I want to do this?
Yeah, so you got.
But we're doing that as well.
You've got to decide how busy you want.
That is Val Parnell ringing, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't remember Val Parnell, he's a very big impresario, and he's obviously ringing for me to go and do the Palladium again, because he's Brucey my life. Remember that?
Yeah, I can remember that. Val Parnell was at London.
Val Parnell's Sunday night at London Palladium.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're not as young as you look, are you, Martin? I mean, he's kidding. He thinks he's only 30, but he's not.
And you as well. You look good for your age.
Well, 58 now.
Wow, 58.
Yes, he said.
Now, as we record this, it's what is it? July
2016. We've actually been recording 2000. This house.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you recently went to see Jeff Lynne.
Yes, I saw Jeff Lynne.
Come on, tell us what you thought.
Okay, all right. Okay. Do you want me to tell the whole story?
Yes.
Well, we had VIP passes for Jeff Lynne at the NEC, which was very, very nice and very kind of him, by Fiona Pritchard. And so off we went. We got straight through the gate. Hello. I had my dark glasses on, being really high, and yeah. Through the gates, come this way. We ushered into the back and standing in the back, and someone came and greeted us and met us. This way, Mike. This way, blah blah blah. So we're standing there, and in through the door came Jeff, and I hadn't seen him since my 50th. So I went, Jeffrey! I ran over to give him a hug. He went, oh, how are you? Yeah, bro, yeah. And he said, listen, I can't speak now. I've got to rush off. I said, yeah, okay, go, understand. Yeah, okay, I'll see you after. Okay, blah. So I said to my wife, he doesn't know who I am. She said, of course he does. I said, he's got a clue. He has not got a clue who I am. It's been 25 years since I've seen him. And I said, you know who I am. She said, oh, you're talking to. Anyway, at the end of the night, we were ushered round to his dressing area, where all the pop stars were, and he came up, he says, Mike, I'm ever so sorry, mate. He says, I thought you were Roger Spencer. I said, I don't know nothing like Roger Spencer. He says, you do. Val Parnell again ringing, ladies and gentlemen. He's a pest. It's a pest. It might be Jeff asking me to join ALO. Who knows? You know, that might be my chance. You never know. See, insistent.
What did you think of the show? The
show was amazing. The support band, I can't remember what they're called. I didn't know. Do you remember?
No.
No, me. We had nice seats at the front, right in front by Jeff, and that. The show was absolutely amazing. The sound was incredible. The band was incredible. And I was told it was Take That Band. Was it Takes That Band? Or Paul McCartney's lineup?
I think some of them Take That, and I think some of them in 10cc. And
yeah.
Well, the best. It's the best. I think the support with the feeling.
The feeling, that's it, yeah. Because Sue said, oh, I like this. And I says, it's been some time since you had that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so we watched him, and he was just incredible. He looked tired.
Yeah.
He looked tired, but he'd been on the boards for ages since that one, and he had to do another night. So I said to Jeff afterward, when Roger Spencer comes on the Sunday, this was a Saturday, so when he comes tomorrow, when he comes in, say, hello, Mike, Roger was here last night. I said, I never found out if he ever did that. But incredible. Love Jeff Lynne. Love him. He's the man. Just bought his new album. And in fact, I've just put When I Was a Boy in our set.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I'd like to hear that.
Yes, so would I. haven't done it yet.
I look forward to that. So you're still gigging. What about hobbies or anything? Do you still do you've got a dummy, haven't you?
Don't talk about that. That's my wife you're talking about.
No, you do a bit of ventriloquism.
Well, yeah. I've got a dummy called Alcoholic.
Right.
He was a bit of a boozer.
Yes.
And Al lives under my bed. I mean, he hasn't come out for ages. He's obviously getting a bit fed up in there. I'm not a ventriloquist, but I met this guy. Well, didn't meet him. Got in touch with him. Who I bought Alcoholic off. He lived in Oregon, in the States. Bought him off him, and he kept in touch. And we started doing videos and he'd do a video of his dummies, talking about my dummies. And he did this one video called The Dark Side, and it's based on a dummy attacking somebody on one of those things. So I thought, I'll do a video of my dummies, I had two then, watching his video. So I stuck my dummies in front of the telly and put his video in. And they were watching, and I was going, no, I don't like this, I don't like this. This is rubbish, I do. And I sent it off to him. I think that started this thing rolling then. And it started, he had a dummy called Lulu. It was like big lips, big Diana, but Diana Dawes lips, big tarty dummy. And I said that I was fancied this Lulu, you know. So I wrote this song called I Love You, Lulu. And Al sang it. We sent it to her, and she was on. And it just got out of hand, and then it came to the point where I did this Road to Oregon. In the old days, there was Bob Hope and Mick Crosby did the road films, like Road to Bally Eye or something. So I did this Road to Oregon, where Al left my house and made it over to his house to get hold of Lulu, you see. And I happened to get he sent me some film of his house. If you want to go on my Facebook, it's on there. Right. Called The Road to Oregon. And you see him go over, Al goes over on a plane, Roger's in it. He gets on a plane and off he goes, and he gets to Oregon, knocks on his door, and Lulu, and it just went on and on and on, and then he did one, and he went on and on. Anyway, apparently he had a divorce with his wife, and it all went flat then, so we haven't done one since. Oh, right. But I was never a ventriloquist. I used to have to do it like that. You know. So, how are you, Al? He goes, I'm all right, thank you, Lord. So I enjoyed that, yeah. That was a hobby. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Yeah, it was. A bit mental, aren't I? You don't have to agree. So listen, it's been great to meet you. Magic, Martin. I was going to ask you if you've got any ambitions there, but you've done it. Well, one ambition is to get that lawn cut, but I don't think it's going to happen today. No, I think it stopped raining anyway. Ambitions? No, I'm quite happy. We've got a nice little house here. Yeah. We are thinking of trying to move down south a bit later on, a couple of years' time, and live down there. But ambition-wise, no, I'm happy singing as long as I always say to Sue, if I start singing like an old man, I said, you tell me, because I won't know. I said, tell me, and I'll stop singing. But touch wood, I'm singing okay. That's how they tell me. So as long as that carries on, I'll carry on doing. You know, I don't want to tour. I don't want to do this. And, you know, I don't want to do loads of gigs and that. But I've never been ambitious. Right. I've had lots of offers. I've had offers. I had an offer from the Walker Brothers. Did you? To join the Walker Brothers. And because I won't fly, I've never flown. Been in a plane, I won't do. I've got a thing about that. I had a phone call from John Walker years ago, and he says, "Mike Sheridan." I says, "Yes." He says, "Do you fancy joining the Walker Brothers?" And I says, "Is this a joke or what?" You know, he says, "No." He says, "What I want you to do," he says, "I want you to get on a plane. I'm in Australia at the moment," he says, "and come and audition." I said, "Did you mention plane?" I said, "I'm sorry, mate." I said, "But there's no way that's going to happen." So I said, "Thanks for the offer." And I put Jeff Turton up for it, who never went either. They wanted to replace Scott Walker, only Scott Walker, with me. It'd be a joke. And then the Tremolos offered me a job, I didn't do that either. And I don't regret it. But I've had chances, but I've never been ambitious enough, I don't think. Well, you've had a great life, I think. Oh, it's been fantastic. I still have, Martin. You always say you've had. Yes. You. I think he's only doing this. He said, "I'm going to get you in before you go." I think I did, actually. Well, listen, it's been great to... It's been fantastic, Martin. If you want to do another one in 20 years' time, I shall be here. We will. Yeah, 90, I'll be 97. Yeah. And we can go what I've done in the last 20 years. Yeah. And you'll be older than me, won't you? You could do.